Here's a fiat currency update. We're already 6 days or so into the new year, 2015, and here in America, things seem to be still in recovery status, according to mainstream media and all of our politicians that are cheering on this recovery. But yet, what's not being talked about and what's not well known is that a lot of other countries are experiencing recessions, borderline depressions. And the reason I tend to follow, global news is just to give me a better perspective of the global monetary system and just, local currencies and things like that, that other people use on a daily basis in their countries. And so here, as usual, I always study the Venezuela economy because there's a lot that we can learn from there. And one thing that we can learn right now is the fact that, we here in America are enjoying, gas for the most part being relatively cheap in comparison to what it's been the last couple of years. And so, cheap gas at the pump is a result of cheap oil prices globally, where you have countries that are dependent upon oil that are losing money for the most part because they are pretty much operating at a loss because they are selling oil at ultra cheap rates. Where this article here from Dollar Today, which came out, which was on over the weekend on the 4th. It just talks about a little bit what's going on in Venezuela and how a country that pretty much makes up 90% of their earnings or revenue for the country based upon the exporting of oil, how when things were, going well in the oil industry, they were making about $95 a barrel. And now that, things are not that good in that industry, they're making about 48, which is pretty much a 51% loss that they're experiencing, which, ultimately just affects every single area of their economy, especially right down to the citizens themselves in regards to their cost of living and just their overall living standards. And so here's an article where it's just goes through some of the details of what's going on in their economy and gives you an overlay of what's happening and things like that. And one of the things here, just in its first line, because it's quite a long article, but yet gives a lot of detail. And so I'll post a link so you can read it yourself if it's something of interest. But as you can see this picture here, there's a lady standing above what looks like used to be a freezer. And as you see, it's virtually empty, which means that people are picking through things left and right, trying to, for the most part, feed themselves. And so it talks about here how even though their economy is in a recession, their, expected, or the economy's fell 3.9%. As far as their GDP is concerned, so their economy is contracting for the most part because businesses are going out of business, and people are losing money, and debts aren't being repaid, and things like that. And it goes right back to the pockets of the everyday Americans, where inflation has jumped to 64%, which, according to the article here, it's the second highest percentage of an inflation rate, where prices jump astronomically since in modern times. And so they're really being pinched in their pockets with basic survival things such as toilet paper and things like that, which are all daily things that they need, which things that you need, I need to survive. But due to their economy being under great pressure right now, and particularly because of their currency, the bolivar you know is under attack for the most part. The fiat currency there is being pressured because they're continuously, increasing the money supply, and the value of it and the confidence in that piece of paper is no longer there. So people are scrambling to get rid of it for the most part. And so just to show how extreme it is, there's another article here on Zero Hedge, which talks about, now there's not even soap. And then it says Maduro heads to China to save socialist utopia in Venezuela. And so here, it talks about, President Maduro, who's the president of Venezuela, how he's now, because things are getting bad, he's making a tour out east where he's going to stop and visit some of the Middle Eastern countries that really sell oil and try to, to knock some sense into their head to get those prices back up. Because the OPEC nations, where Saudi Arabia, Iran, all those nations there pretty much control the overall price on the market. because everything's sold in dollars. And so the Maduro, I'm sure, is over there trying to plead them to get that price back up so they can make some money and so that he can make some money. And beyond that, he's also going to China and pretty much, probably borrow some money or plan on, making some back deals type of things to help get their economy, going. But with this article here, it's real short, but yet what really stands out the most is just the pictures, how the pictures paint a great, the pictures are, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. These pictures here, which I'm about to show you, are worth, multiple millions in regards to just how unbelievable they are. I couldn't imagine myself. I couldn't imagine going to a grocery store and experiencing what these people in Venezuela are experiencing. And it shows here a line in front of a grocery store. And my Spanish isn't up to par, so I really can't, just call off stuff fluently. But it's good to say these people here outside a grocery store, and it's caged up to where they're, shaking the fence and trying to get in there, I guess, to get some food and whatnot. And also, it's so bad there where they have actually government markets where you have to have a RFID card and some type of chip, and you got to have permission. You can only get 2 cartons of eggs or type of thing per week, and that they're so bad there that you're given permission to getting certain things, and if you violate that, you go to jail, and because they're rationing out basic items for living. So here's just a picture here. Somebody posted this, Gabriel Lugo or whatever. Don't know the guy, but they decided to share this here. And so this is just outside the grocery store. And then here's the line inside a grocery store where this might be just to get to some items or to check out, or I'm not sure. And then here's it's a couple pictures that someone took of the shelves of probably smaller, not major retail chain grocery stores where they're just basically empty. What used to be, shelves full of food, they're bare, which is just unbelievable. So it says today in the supermarket, Maracabo, which could have been some type of, food, thing there. Then here's another shelf, eggs, a carton of eggs. You allow 1 carton per person of eggs, but they're gone. So what do you do now? Here's the frozen food section. Refrigerator's probably turned off because there's no food there. Here's another, this looks like a major store, probably a wholesale place where the shelves are being, just bamboozled, confidence. It's ugly. Here's another, supermarket, another supermarket here. They got 1 carton and whatever that is, which obviously nobody wants. And then here's another area in the grocery store, the Plaza Gutierrez, whatever that is, empty, gone, no longer in business. Then here's another picture of just several pictures of just empty shelves, line after line. You got, a lady walking with a grocery cart, a guy walking with a grocery cart. It says we couldn't find shampoo, so we wash our hair with soap. Now there's not even soap. And so it just goes to show how bad things are in Venezuela, and I'm sure other countries are experiencing things like this. But these are just things that you will not hear about in mainstream media, which, in my opinion, are great life lessons to learn about, the consequences of, fiat currency, and just how, monetary illiteracy, rather, how it comes back to haunt people, because these people didn't have any idea that the paper, that the economy, that the system they're under could do this to them, as far as them having lost confidence in their, fiat currency, that their paper money and whatnot. So just a little something to think about. These are the consequences of a fiat currency, where it always ends bad when it's just debt based. And so the country is bankrupt, so they're printing paper, and people don't want the paper. And so what they do, they look for to get rid of it and to store up as much goods and tangible items as they can. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Have a good one.